Hello and welcome to another Facebook Live. My name is Dan Dowling. I'm the Regional Communications Manager for the American Red Cross, and we're very happy to welcome Abby Kelly to our Facebook Live today. She's the Regional Preparedness Manager for the American Red Cross of Northern New England. Abby, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we wanted to do this for a while now, and now we have a reason to because we're keeping an eye on a storm perhaps for the weekend. But in Northern New England, we're going to be talking about preparedness today. And, there's all sorts of disasters that are likely to impact our region. We've already had some flooding in Vermont over the course of the summer, but we're used to nor'easters and blizzards and ice storms and all sorts of things. So people in New England need to be ready for the next disaster. And I wanted to have you on today and talk a little bit about what does preparedness look like for us, and what should people start thinking about when it comes to preparedness?
Well, I think the first important thing to talk about is why preparedness, right? Because a lot of people think, we can handle this, right? But preparedness, the reason that we do this is so that we can either mitigate, so lessen the damages from disasters, or completely prevent the damages done from disasters. We don't have a way to prevent those disasters yet, right? So we have to make sure that we are prepared in order, again, to lessen the damage or completely prevent. So there are a couple of really important things, easy things that you can do, and things that you could start today and keep on working up towards. I'm not expecting anybody to have their entire household kit ready for tomorrow, but there are a couple of things that we could get started on today. The two biggest things in preparedness for year round would be to have one, a household kit. That household kit should be for up to 2 weeks. And that should have items in it that would be for your entire household. Okay. The other kind of kit that we would like for everyone to have is what we call your go kit. That would be if you had an act fast emergency, you were told, you've got to get out of your house. You're not safe. You need to go. Everybody in your household should have a go kit, and that go kit should have items in it that would help you to be okay for at least 3 days.
Yeah, so I think we're certainly, get a kit, have a plan, and be informed, right? So, we want to make sure that people know what is going on out there and can plan accordingly. What kinds of things should people have? Say they're in their house for a couple of days without power. What things would people want to have, especially maybe in the winter months? When you rely on having power.
So there are a couple of things that are the easiest things to do, and again, you could get started right today. So we want everyone to have a gallon of water per person per day. That sounds like a lot. Right. Of water, doesn't it, Dan?
Yeah.
So a lot of people would say, oh my heavens, that's too much. But what you could do is go out and get started today. So let's say you have five people in your house plus a dog. Okay. So go out and get 6 gallons of water. Put that in your kit. That's one of the easiest things, easiest places to start with, because a lot of times when we don't have power, there are a lot of folks that will not have access to clean water. Another easy thing to have in those kits is the non-perishable food items, okay? Think about things that you could eat, and if you have other people in your household that they will also eat, okay? In case that you do not have power. Also, I held up a can of food on purpose because guess what? A lot of us have those electric can openers. So I would love for everyone to also have a good old-fashioned can opener in their kit. One other really important thing that I would love for everyone to have in their home, for each person in their home, is a good old-fashioned flashlight. Okay, so these flashlights, when I say good old-fashioned, that means that we're using batteries in our flashlight. Okay, we do not want to rely on our phones. The reason that we do not want to rely on our phones or our electronics for that light is because we want to save that charge in case you're in any kind of emergency and you need to call out. So everyone in your household should have an old-fashioned flashlight with batteries in it, ready to go right by your bed at night. That
Awesome.
is the easiest way to be prepared.
Yeah, I mean, there's a variety of reasons why we could lose power here in northern New England, and certainly having a lot of those battery things, something you don't think about until you need it, right? And so,
Right.
getting some of those things together now. Now, Abby, great information. I appreciate all this. And for viewers who are watching, if you need a list of this stuff, you can go to our website, redcross.org/prepare. And there's a wealth of topics, a wealth of information on there that has everything you need to prepare for whatever kind of disaster might head our way. So, Abby, as we continue to talk about preparedness, what happens if I have to take my family and leave the house? If I need to go to a shelter or something to that, a safer place than where I am now? What are some tips for people who may have to leave in a hurry?
Yeah. So, first of all, again, that's where that planning comes into play, right? So, we want to think about where we would go. Think about who you all have in your household, right? Do you have older adults in your household? Do you have pets in your household? Do you have young children? So, thinking about all of those things and figuring out a place that you could go in advance if you did have an emergency. Okay. Now, if you came down to it and maybe that place isn't even available, you maybe have a kind of an emergency where maybe perhaps the Red Cross opens shelters. Okay. You would be able to find out where those shelters are. Okay. And then you would be able to go to those. But again, you would still want to, if you can, bring that go kit with some of those important items, because then you would be sure that you had stuff for everyone in your home. And we also want you to practice those plans. So once you've made that plan, you may think, oh, gee, it's great. But in 6 months, it'll be wintertime. And we're thinking, oh, my heavens, none of this stuff is any good right now. Like I have all summer stuff. So now you need to look at it and just reassess. Is this all still the same situation? Do we have all of the same folks in our home? And then also make sure that everything in there is good and ready to go. And also double check that your location that you wanted to go to in the first place is still a location and it would still work for everybody in your household.
Absolutely. And perhaps one of the ways to do that, to find locations, if we're a Red Cross shelter, is to use our apps that we have available to us. And those are very useful information, not only to provide us with real time data as far as where shelters may be open, but maybe things I need to know to prepare or to plan and things like that. Can you talk a little bit about the app that we have and how folks might be able to get that?
Yes. So it is completely free of charge. You can get it anywhere where you typically get your apps from. I love the app. There are a couple of reasons why. First of all, you can put in your home address, but you can also put in your loved one's address. Okay. So, for example, I have a brother that lives up in Maine. I put in his zip code as well so that I can make sure that I am seeing the information that is also weather is happening that's up his way, right? So that's super great to know, because also it provides us information with how to prepare ourselves, but also what to do during the emergency, which is really important because many of us maybe haven't encountered this type of emergency, right? And so we don't know exactly what to do. So it does provide that information in the app as well. And again, you can also help to prepare your loved ones. If you happen to see that there is an emergency coming their way, you can also let them know about that app as well. But also, you can share the information with them.
Awesome. Great tips, Abby. And, as we were talking about, leaving the house and maybe having to go somewhere, certainly in the case of the flooding we've had in Vermont and the possibility for flooding in Maine, we're talking about turning around, don't drown. Road conditions change quickly, especially in New England here. And it's very important to be aware of changing road conditions and act accordingly. You never know how deep that water is underneath and if the road had been washed out or anything like that. And certainly you want to keep yourself safe in those conditions.
Yeah, and you also want to make sure that you're following the evacuation route. If there has been one set up, please do not try to take any shortcuts or anything. There's probably a very good reason why they made that the evacuation route. And as you said, turn around, don't drown. It sounds kind of silly, especially to us New Englanders who are so very hardy and we feel like we can get through anything. But if you see water, again, you do not know how deep it is. So turn around, don't drown is really, really important.
Sure. And then after a disaster, the storm is over with, the skies clear out. You want to either go back to your home or maybe go outside and inspect the damage that may be around your home. Any tips or any guidance maybe about what people should expect in those circumstances to be on the safe side?
Right. First of all, do not go back to your homes until you have been notified that it is safe to do so. I know that we are anxious, especially if you're away from your home. You want to know exactly what happened. But again, be sure that your officials have let you know that it is safe to go back. Unfortunately, a lot of our accidents happen after the emergencies because people are not wearing appropriate clothing. They're very tired. They're very stressed out. And so, therefore, unfortunately, this is when a lot of accidents can happen. So, we want to make sure that we're thinking about our self care, first of all, again, because emergencies can be so very stressful on us. We also want to be thinking about once we go into our homes, looking at the damages, taking a look at that information, and assessing if it is safe to be in there. If it is safe, let's talk about food, for example. If your refrigerator has been down for a couple of days and you get that food out, again, I know us New Englanders, right? Don't eat it if it looks unsafe. As I say, when in doubt, throw it out. Okay. It's you do not, especially if you don't have power, if your house has any damages, you've been through this stressful situation, you do not want to have food poisoning on top of all of that. So when in doubt, throw it out. Take a look at all the non-perishable food that you've already had prepared so that you'll have food available to you and your water.
Awesome. Very great. Very good tips, Abby. Thank you so much. And again, if anyone wants to get these tips online, you can go to the website, redcross.org/prepare, and lots of information on there and plenty more about disasters. Hopefully, we won't need them anytime soon. We are certainly hoping for the best, but looking forward to whatever the weather might bring in the coming months for sure here in northern New England. Abby, anything else you'd like to add about preparedness or what we might want to be ready for?
I think just a reminder about all of those things. Have a kit, right, at your house and a go kit. Have a plan that you're practicing. Okay, don't just do it one time. And then know how to stay informed and think about those different types of weather that we might see and know what those kinds of things mean. For example, a watch versus a warning, thinking about those types of things and making sure that you know exactly what's coming and what is potential in your area.
And again, the preparedness is a continuous process, right? It's something that we do all the time. It's not a kit we put together and stash in the corner for 6 months from now. It's something that we need to talk about with our family and our kids as well. So I think that's all very good information. If you're watching this on Facebook, please share it with your friends and let them know about what they can do to prepare for the next big weather event as well. So Abby, thank you so much for having the time to be with us today. We have lots of great information. And again, download the app, check out the website, and be ready for whatever comes our way. With New England weather, you never know when that might be. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Abby, thank you for being here, and we'll do this again soon. Thanks.
Thanks.